Welcome back, followers of Atlas Case Unlocked. We greet you and welcome you to a new episode, detailing stories and files of crimes that occurred within the cities and villages of the Kingdom of Morocco. We hope our esteemed followers are well and healthy. As always, without further delay, let's dive directly into the details of today's crime. We're going to start today's case, which took place near the city of El Jadida, by examining its conclusion first. This is a file from the Royal Gendarmerie. At approximately 10:30 p.m., the police in El Jadida received an urgent call from a local hospital. They reported that a young man had been brought in by his family for emergency aid. However, the hospital staff confirmed that the young man was dead upon arrival, a victim of murder. Initial assessment suggested he had been stabbed in the heart area with a sharp object. Police officers quickly arrived at the hospital. They interviewed the victim's family, his father, 2 brothers, his mother, and several relatives. The victim was a young man, about 26 years old. The family stated they lived in an area just outside El Jadida, a location under the jurisdiction of the gendarmerie. They explained that their son usually returned home late, around 11 p.m. In their village, there was a popular social hall, a kind of cafe for billiards and games. The young man would often stay there with his friends until it was time to leave. The family was alerted when someone, a young man from their neighborhood, ran to them saying, "Your son is down, he's bleeding, something is wrong." The family rushed to the spot and found the young man collapsed, unsure if he was merely unconscious or dead. They quickly loaded him into the car and drove him straight to the hospital for resuscitation. They had no idea who could have struck him or why, since the crime occurred outside the city limits. The police immediately informed the public prosecutor's office. The prosecutor swiftly transferred the case to the Royal Gendarmerie, who had jurisdiction over the crime scene. The gendarmerie took over the evidence collected by the police and began their meticulous search. They took the family back to the precise location where the victim had fallen. The spot turned out to be semi-isolated, a patch of land along the road, often used as a dumping ground for construction debris. The young man was found lying on the dirt road there. Who raised the alarm? The gendarmerie asked. The family named 2 young boys cousins, aged about 15 and 17, who also lived in the village. They had seen the victim fall. The gendarmerie began their questioning. The family insisted they had no enemies. "Our son kept to himself," they said. "He had no problems with anyone yesterday or the day before." They noted the stab wound was deliberately aimed at the heart, a focused, intentional strike. They suspected a long-held grudge or a setup. Crucially, the victim's brother revealed that their father had paid the victim his wages that very Saturday night. The police confirmed that the victim still had money in his pocket, along with a packet of cigarettes and a lighter. The crime was not motivated by robbery. The gendarmerie broadened their search and found 3 additional witnesses, men who were renting lodging in the area, working in construction. Their testimony was vital. They stated they were walking home from watching a soccer match, passing the crime scene around 9:30 p.m. They recounted, "We saw a young man standing there talking to a girl. As we walked past them, the girl immediately tried to hide behind the young man's body, covering herself as if she knew us. or was from our neighborhood. The witnesses were shown the victim's jacket, a thick jacket with a reflective strip, and they confirmed, yes, that's the young man we saw. The investigation crystallized around three crucial, unanswered questions. Motive. Since robbery was ruled out, why was he murdered? The family maintained he had no known conflicts. Timeline. Friends at the social hall confirmed the victim had left around 7:30 p.m. before the soccer match began, telling them he had to go home. Yet he was not home, and he was found dead 2 hours later. Where was he during that missing time? The girl. Who was the girl the witnesses saw standing with him? The witnesses could only confirm she was tall and slender, matching the victim's height. Her action of hiding was highly suspicious. The victim's family denied knowing of any girlfriend or any girl he might have met there in that isolated spot. However, the victim's friends confirmed a key piece of information. Their friend had recently fallen for a girl from their own village. The friends named the girl the daughter of a local family. She lived with her mother, father, and an older sister, about 21 years old. The girl herself was a minor, roughly 16. The victim had confided in his friends, saying, "I love this girl from our village. I want to marry her. I'm preparing myself for our future." But when asked if the victim had met her that night, the friends had no reliable information. The gendarmerie faced a tight timeline. The victim died between 9:30 and 10 p.m. They had to move quickly. They couldn't afford to delay based on mere suspicion. But the girl's description and the victim's admitted feelings made her the primary person of interest. The gendarmerie proceeded cautiously. This was a murder investigation, and they couldn't let the maxim, "innocent until proven guilty," stop them from seeking the truth. They decided to speak with the girl and her family immediately. The gendarmerie's focus quickly turned to the young girl, a minor of 16. At first, her family, her mother, father, and 21-year-old sister defended her. They said she had been at her aunt's house until around 9:30 and went straight home. The path from her aunt's home to hers was nowhere near the isolated road where the victim was found. But the girl's description, tall and slender, matched the witness's account, and the victim's friends had clearly named her as the girl he intended to marry. That alone raised immediate suspicion. There was more. The girl had a brother, around 25, roughly the same age as the victim. But he wasn't living at home. He was a known fugitive, wanted by the police for his involvement in a scrap metal theft ring. He'd been hiding for more than a year. The gendarmerie knew they couldn't afford to miss any detail. They brought the girl to the station, with her father present since she was a minor. They separated them, making sure the father stayed only for legal formality. "Do you know the victim?" they asked. "Yes," she said quietly. "I know him. He lives in our village. He told me. He wanted to marry me." "Did you meet him tonight?" She hesitated, then said, "No, I haven't met him." The interrogator leaned forward. "We have witnesses who saw you with the victim just 2 hours ago at that very location. They saw you trying to hide behind him." The young girl's face went pale, and then, facing evidence she couldn't deny, she broke down. girl finally revealed the truth. Her fugitive brother had secretly returned from his hiding place in Yausufia, staying with a friend in their village to wait for darkness before sneaking home to see his mother. The girl recounted, "I was waiting for the victim, my boyfriend, near the village. He told me to follow him to a place where we could talk alone. We walked to that isolated spot. Suddenly, I was shocked to see my brother and his friend emerge from the darkness. The brother immediately confronted the victim. 'What are you doing with my sister?' An argument erupted, quickly escalating into a physical fight. The girl continued, 'My brother started hitting him first. They exchanged punches. Then his friend pulled out a knife and handed it to my brother. My brother then stabbed the victim directly in the heart. The victim collapsed. Her brother commanded her, 'Don't say anything, go straight home.' The girl did exactly that, suppressing the entire horrific truth from her parents. Meanwhile, the brother's friend, who had supplied the knife, was among the crowd gathered at the crime scene earlier. When he saw the gendarmerie take the girl away, he knew she would reveal the truth. He panicked and fled. The gendarmerie quickly established that the girl's brother was indeed hiding in Yausufia with his uncle. They went back to the girl and her older sister and extracted the uncle's address. Within days, the gendarmerie located the fugitive brother at his uncle's house in Yausufia and arrested him. The brother confessed, backing up the girl's story and confirming the motive: honor and rage. He stated, "I saw him with my sister in the darkness. He had no right to take my younger sister out there. We started fighting and he was stronger than me. I saw I was losing, so I asked my friend for the knife and I stabbed him in the chest." The friend who provided the weapon also confessed. He claimed he only handed over the knife and didn't commit the murder himself. This ignorance of the law led to a shocking final verdict. The young girl, being a minor and seemingly acting under emotional distress, was released. The court delivered its devastating sentences. The brother, the primary assailant, was sentenced to 25 years in prison. The friend who provided the knife was also sentenced to 25 years in prison. This case serves as a profound legal lesson. Many people, out of general legal ignorance, believe that merely supplying a weapon absolves them of the most serious penalty. The friend argued that he only gave the knife, yet the court treated him as an equal partner in the crime, delivering the same harsh sentence as the man who performed the fatal stab. Under Moroccan law, if you participate in a crime, even if your role is facilitation, providing the tool, and you flee afterwards, you are considered a joint perpetrator. Your actions made the homicide possible. This tragic story highlights the catastrophic results of rash decisions fueled by youthful rage and misguided honor, particularly when involving minors. 2 lives were lost: the young man who was killed and the young man who will spend his youth buried alive in a prison cell. The final takeaway remains: when dealing with a minor, regardless of your intentions, you must proceed legally. Avoid secret meetings and confrontations in isolated places. This tragic incident proves once again that engaging with minors outside the bounds of law and family approval leads to troubles with the highest possible cost.